Tonight, hear why the powerful Democrat says he's not taking this election lightly at all. Plus, the closest congressional race in Illinois has two former challengers up against each other in the 10th district yet again. We're sitting down with Republican Bob Dold. Good evening. Welcome to Politics Tonight. And I'm WGN-TV political analyst Paul Lisnick, and this is our nightly look at politics around our city, state, and nation. We always like when you join the conversation. The phone lines are open at 877-358-CLTV. That's 877-358-2588. But if you want to put a question or a comment on Facebook or Twitter, feel free. Just search out Politics Tonight. Well, we continue our Meet the Candidates series this evening in Illinois' 10th Congressional District. 10th District now covers parts of the northeast suburbs. It includes Buffalo Grove, Lake Forest, Mundelein, Waukegan, Wheeling, and so on. Bob Dold served that district from 2011 to 2013. Now he wants to go back to Capitol Hill. On Monday, I sat down with current Congressman Brad Schneider, his opponent. Tonight, Bob Dold joins us in the WGN studios. Bob, welcome back to Politics Tonight.
Great to be here, Paul.
A fast 2 years or a slow 2 years for you?
I think it was pretty quick. Family and business. I run a small business, and then, of course, spending time out about listening to people all across the district.
So, your ads, other than your ad with Mark Kirk, as far as I can see, they don't talk about you being a Republican, and you don't really harp on that. But Brad Schneider and Democrats make sure everybody knows that you are indeed a Republican. It's Bob Dold and the Republicans, attached at the hip. Why is that such a bad thing?
Well, listen, I think what I'm focusing on is how we can try to solve the big problems. Everybody I talk to doesn't believe that Washington is working, and Brad Schneider's part of the problem. And so what we want is we want people that are willing to roll up their sleeves, work with those on the other side of the aisle, come up with solutions to the problems that are being faced, because people are sitting around kitchen tables today, Paul, worried that they're falling behind. And we need, whether it be the cost of food or fuel or higher education, the uncertainty around retirement, all of those things, in essence, they're making it harder for people to raise their families today than it was 5 years ago. I think we should be making it easier.
All right, and of course, Brad is a proud Democrat, proud Republican?
Listen, I'm on the Republican ticket. Yes, I'm a proud
Okay. So let's talk about some of the issues. You know, Ebola is in the news, of course, today, but the reason I want to talk about it with you is that we now have this call from Bruce Rauner, Mark Kirk, who is, you know, obviously tied to you. We have to restrict travel, keep people from coming into this country, get them at the passport level. What do you think?
Listen, I think that we ought to be restricting travel visas at this point in time until we actually have protocols in place so that we know exactly what's happening. And I think right now, as we're looking at those types of things, certainly we saw some of the problems in Dallas. We've been able to try to rectify some of those things, but until those protocols are put in place and that we're comfortable, I think we ought to be restricting travel visas for those hotspot areas.
Bob, won't that just send people underground? I mean, they'll find, if they want to come to this country, they'll find other ways to get to the country.
Well, I mean, that needs to be, we need to be on, in essence, alert, because this is a problem and we need to be able to solve this problem, and it requires leadership. And that's where America, again, can step up and start to lead. But I do believe that we need to be restricting those travel visas for those hotspot areas until we put those protocols in place and we're comfortable with those protocols.
So you say it requires leadership. I assume part of that means we're not getting the leadership that you'd like to see from the president. Fair enough?
I would say that the president certainly was slow to step up with regard to this. I'm certainly delighted to see that we're making some progress right now as we look around and what's happening. But certainly here in the Chicago area, O'Hare Airport is one of those places where those flights are coming in. And I do want to make sure that we're prepared and have those protocols in place.
If you were in Congress now, would you have called Speaker Boehner and said, you know what, John, maybe we need to be in Washington dealing with this and not just letting the White House handle it?
Well, I think certainly some other issues, whether it be, you know, ISIS and those types of things, would probably be more the reason to step up and do that. But I do think that when it comes to Ebola, it's just something that's going to be a worldwide situation, as obviously it's been in Western Africa and coming into the United States. We need to step up and lead.
We're obviously, there's a piece of gridlock we're talking about here, and a lot of people, Democrats, certainly blame Speaker Boehner because he just doesn't call the legislation, such as immigration. I'm assuming you support immigration reform.
Immigration reform is absolutely vital. We need to make sure that we're stepping forward, and we need to
in a comprehensive way.
Absolutely in a comprehensive way. And I think that we've got to talk about fixing this problem for our economy, be able to bring people out of the shadows, be contributing members of our community, paying taxes. But we also have to fix the legal process, which is broken. We have to protect our border, and we have to fix the H-1B visa. We're educating the best and the brightest from all over the globe, and as soon as they graduate with that master's degree or a PhD, what do? We kick them out to compete against us. What we should be saying is stay here, help create the next new patent, help innovate and create more American jobs right here at home.
Well, I've seen ads of yours that talk about, you know, you are the guy that's going to break the gridlock, you are the guy that can work across the aisle. Now, Democrats who have sat in that chair, Brad Schneider, Bill Foster, have all said, my words, not theirs, don't talk to me, talk to John Boehner, have him call the legislation. Would you get John Boehner to have called this legislation?
I would certainly be one that advocating that we need to move things forward in a bipartisan fashion. And what's interesting is if you look at my opponent, all of his ads, all of his stuff is all negative. And frankly, what's interesting to me is he's not talking at all about the things that he's done.
But you're both doing a good job of the negative stuff.
No. Listen, when we talk about Mark Kirk, we talk about an ad with my sister, we talked about us talking about jobs. Most of the stuff, we're trying to give people a reason to come and affirmatively vote for us. And I understand my opponent has nothing to run on. He's got nothing to point to and say this is what we've been able to do. And therefore I understand why he's running a completely negative ad and campaign. And he's been called out by the Chicago Tribune, the Daily Herald, the Chicago Jewish Star, all those that have taken a look at it. The Northbrook Tower said basically shame on you, Brad Schneider, for the campaign that you're running.
But he's gotten endorsements from Sierra Club, environmental groups, Planned Parenthood. We'll talk about your views on these things, but is that upsetting to you that you're not getting some of those groups, given that you believe your views are
the real endorsement? When we talk about the Chicago Tribune, the Daily Herald, we just rolled out 27 mayoral and local elected official endorsements. Listen, those are the endorsements that I think are meaningful in the sense that they're the ones that are our neighbors. They're the ones that are dealing with the problems right here at home. We're looking to represent everyone, not just one political party, as my opponent is doing right now. So
in the ads, would you say, have the negative ads on your end not been from you, but they've been from Republican PACs, that kind of thing? I mean, I'll ask you about one. I know one of John Boehner's PAC, the Congressional Leadership Fund, Super PAC, putting $1 million into your campaign. It raises the question, just how much would you owe John Boehner?
Listen, John Boehner and others know that I've been that thoughtful, independent leader. We're going to take on the party when we think that they're wrong. We've been outspoken about this. And the best part is that this is a public record where the voters can actually go. And I would encourage them to go to organizations or websites like govtracks.us, where they actually put a plot graph out there and they judge people on an ideological score and a leadership score. We were high on the leadership score, right in the middle ideologically. When we looked for Brad Schneider just last month, no plot graph. And when we inquired with GovTracks as to why, they said he hasn't done enough to warrant a dot on the graph. That's not the 10th District leadership that we're used to. And frankly, it's embarrassing.
Well, here's the good news. As you've said, the Schneider campaign and Democrats have been running a lot of negative ads against you. The unfortunate part is you never really get to respond, but you will.
All right.
After these words, I'll continue my conversation with Bob Dold in just a moment.